Philippe, when did you start building this?
10 years ago.
The small barn that Philippe Petit built himself at his home near Woodstock, New York.
I like the sign.
The smallest theater in the world. That's what it is. Welcome.
Is the artist's refuge.
Well, I have all my props. Let's say these are like the clubs that I use when I'm practicing. And
home for his juggler's equipment, his costumes.
Buster Keaton was doing this, you see, was in front of an audience. Things like this. So anyway, you can do so many things with a top hat.
His high wire.
So this is some of the cable I have used lately.
And of course, his shoes.
These are actually the historic shoes of the World Trade Center. These are the one that I actually, you see the mark of the cable here. Mm-hmm.
The shoes he wore that gray August morning in 1974, when the then 24-year-old Frenchman stepped out onto a steel cable strung between the tops of the Twin Towers, a quarter-mile above the streets of Manhattan.
It was not difficult. I mean, I just had to grab the pole and get on that wire. It's not difficult, but it was the most difficult thing in the world to do, of course.
Yeah.
There is somebody out there in a tightrope walk right at the tippy top. He's carrying a long...
Petit insisted he wasn't a daredevil. He was an artist.
I was not gambling my life. I was doing something much more beautiful. I was carrying my life across. I wanted to use a wire as a stage, and I wanted to do something, I don't know, profound or something inspiring, and then the Twin Towers knock at my door. You see, I didn't find them, they found me.
They found him when he was 17, waiting in a French dentist's office, a moment recreated in the documentary film Man on Wire.
And suddenly I freeze, because I have opened a newspaper at a page and I see something magnificent, something that inspires me. I see two towers. And the article says one day those towers will be built. They're not even there yet.
But Petit's dream was born.
So what I do is, under the cover of this, I tear the page, put it under my jacket, and go out.
The film follows Petit's 6.5-year clandestine quest. Through his juggling on the streets of Paris and New York, he raised $20,000. He created a scale model of the rooftops of the World Trade Center. In a farm field in France, he set up a wire the exact distance between the Twin Towers, while his friends tugged on it to simulate the wind. Finally, a fake ID would gain him access. Watching Men on Wire, now up for an Oscar for Best Documentary, even its star was on the edge of his seat.
I'm thinking, is he going to make it? And I am like, you know, my palms are sweaty. And then I realize, okay, I'm the guy, I'm here, I am
and you did make it.
And kicking.
In 45 minutes on the wire that morning, he crossed the 140 feet between the Twin Towers 8 times before police finally coaxed him off. Petit was arrested, charged with trespassing and disorderly conduct.
Why did you do this?
When I see a beautiful place to put my wire, I cannot resist.
But the case was quickly dropped.
I personally figured I was watching something that somebody else would never see again in the world.
I mean, you can't help but look at that and say, what do you do for an encore?
Well, you see, if I were a different kind of wire walker, the one who wanted to run across and claim I did it and have his name in a book of records, then I would have killed myself, because there was nothing higher, bigger, more, more amazing than the Twin Towers. But I am the opposite of that artist. I am somebody who's going through life looking for interesting artistic challenges.
In 1989, he crossed the River Seine on a wire between Paris's Palais de Chaillot and the Eiffel Tower. In 1994, 500,000 people watched him cross the skies over Frankfurt, Germany. And earlier this decade, he planned to stretch a wire across the Grand Canyon.
So these, look at that, this is pure steel, you know.
He had these cable anchors custom made.
So these were supposed to hold the cable that was,
yes,
you were going to walk across the Grand Canyon.
On its side. And
but the backers got cold feet.
And one of the producers went to the site, and he get on the edge, and he get completely scared, and probably inside his head he must think, why am I helping this young man to kill himself?
Ridiculous, says Petit, who by his count has performed 82 high-wire walks and never fallen.
And in a way, I am a much better wire walker today than I was when I was, rebellious and, well, I'm still rebellious, but I was arrogant. Well, I'm still arrogant. Anyway, when my
And he still performs regularly at New York's Cathedral of St. John the Divine, where he's artist in residence. Now nearly 60, Philippe Petit still trains 3 hours a day.
In the summer, you're practicing out here.
Yeah, and even in winter, but I mean, 2 feet of snow, it's a little bit against the wire walker's rule, right? To walk on an icy cable. But this cable is actually a piece of the actual cable I was walking on between the Twin Towers.
He's not only walking across that tightrope, but he's also occasionally sitting down.
Can you still imagine it now that they're not there?
They are there. They are. Those towers, to me, they were alive. They were almost human. They breathed, they moved, they allow me to pass. They smile when I walk, and I still see them there, and they are in my heart, of course.